So as you can see, this video begins within a book, so it's an APA style guide. If you need help with searching for books on Perlego, we have another video that covers that, so you can check that out first if you need to. This guide is primarily going to look at when we're within the book and reading it and what we can make use of from here. So I'm currently gone to the first chapter, and what we're going to look at is the taskbar down the left hand side for the most part. So this is where you can find most of the functions. So to start at the very top of this taskbar, the Perlego logo, this will bring you back to your home page. And as you can see, there's also a keyboard shortcut available, so Alt plus H. And as you work down through all of these, you'll have those shortcuts available and they'll be written next to it. So your table of contents will be T, for example. So that's obviously useful from an accessibility point of view, or if you're just used to using keyboard shortcuts to get around. So you can take a look at those. The second thing here on the left hand side is table of contents. So it's always a good place to start if you're unsure of whether a book is relevant to what you're looking for or has the information you need. It's always good to take a look at the table of contents, and you can flick ahead obviously to whatever section you think is most relevant to you. A step on from this then is probably the find in book option, and this is basically where you can do a search. So you can search for a keyword and it'll give you results for where that's found within the book. And again, this will give you an idea of whether this book is relevant to your specific topic. As well as this, then you have a dictionary, which obviously is for if you come across a term or phrase that you don't quite understand, you can look it up here in the dictionary and you'll get a definition. It's obviously useful in the context of psychology often, where there might be terms you come across that you don't quite know in the first instance. Below that then we have bookmarks, and we also have notes and highlights. So bookmarks are similar to what you do with a physical book. If you want to mark a page that you want to return to, you can do that. And as you can see, if we go into bookmarks now, it's empty, we don't have any done. And similar for notes and highlights, we don't have any added here yet. So just to start with the bookmarks, if you do need to add a bookmark, if you go to the far side of the page, the very top right corner, you'll see a little bookmark icon, or M for the keyboard shortcut. And once you click that, it'll say bookmark saved. And then if we go back just here at the top of the page, so whatever page you're on, the bookmark icon will appear here at the top of the page. And that should show up then in our bookmarks folder, and you'll be able to go back to it. You can delete it then if you need to. Just while we're at that side of the page, the top right hand corner, there's also a start a timer option. So that's obviously if you're looking to do some time management. If you don't want to spend too much time reading the one book, you can start a timer and it'll be a reminder when the time runs up. So maybe you might need to move on to your next subject. Notes and highlights. So we can come back to this in a moment. I'll show you how to add notes and add highlights, and this is just where they'll be, where you'll find them within this folder. The next option then, down towards the bottom of the taskbar, is references and citations. And this is important, so you can click this anytime, at any point in the book, and it'll give you your reference list entry. So you can copy that, you can paste it into your reference list if you need to, and it'll also give you your in-text citation. So this could differ slightly depending on what page you're on, but I'll show you how to do that in a moment. You can also access this option from highlighting text, which we'll look at in a moment. Just important thing to note is I have this set to APA 7, and I have done this previously and that setting has stayed there, but for you, you may need to do this the first time you access it. So just make sure it's set to APA and 7, which is 7th edition. And it's no harm to check every now and again that it's still on that setting and it hasn't reverted to something like Harvard, because obviously then your reference won't be to the style you want it to be. The final setting then, which is called settings. This is very important. It offers a lot of accessibility functions, I suppose, or even just different preferences for different people. So this is where you can change the setting of your text or the size of your page or the font. And we also have an accessibility video, the library, so I'm not going to go into as much detail here, so you can take a look at that if you want to afterwards. But basically, you can change the text size of the book. You can change the style, the font. There's one there for Open Dyslexic, it's called, and it's obviously designed to make it easier for people with dyslexia to read. You've got page weight, and then you've got background color as well. So if you find it easier with a different contrast, you can change it to black, paper, white. And then also, as you can see in the accessibility video, there's different contrasts available. So again, these are designed by Beeline software provider, and these are intended to make it easier for people to follow along text. And basically, it'll change the font, different colors, and you can try out the different options. The final one is quite different. It'll change it to black, and then it changes the color of the text as it goes along. And this is all designed with people with dyslexia in mind or any other kind of additional needs. So you might find that useful. If you do make a lot of changes and you want to just go back to the default, there's a reset to default button at the very bottom. And then you have the enable keyboard shortcuts. So that'll be turned on as a default. So it's only if you need to turn that off for any reason. So the settings there are mainly the ones in terms of accessibility, but a lot of people might find changes they can make there that would just make it easier to read the book. And once you change it for one book, them settings will remain unless you go changing it back. So that's obviously good. They carry through to the other books you'll read. The final function here then is read aloud. So as it suggests, this will read the book out to you. So if you click it here on the left hand side, it'll read the whole chapter. But as you can see, if we go back into the actual text, for each paragraph, a little blue read aloud icon will also appear. So if you click that, it'll read just that section only, that paragraph. So you have those two options, whether you want to read the whole book or just use paragraph by paragraph setting. Also, if you use the Perlego mobile app, there's an option to download books and then you could play them as read aloud while you're on the move or maybe in the car. This option wouldn't be available for this kind of browser view, so it's only for the mobile app. But that could be useful to people too. So just as we're reading the book, another couple of options you have. If we highlight, say this couple of sentences here, this paragraph, you'll get options to be able to highlight the text, so in different colors. So you could have a color code system in place if you want, or you can just use the same color for all of them, but you can choose which color. You can remove the highlight as well if you need to afterwards. So we'll highlight in blue for now. Also, you can copy linked text. So maybe if you wanted to send someone to this particular point of the book to get their opinion on it, you can do that. You can copy the text. So maybe if you wanted to paste it into your assignment to use as a direct quotation, or maybe you just want to paste it in and then rework it and paraphrase it. So you can do that. And then you have cite passage. So this is similar to what we looked at a minute ago in terms of references and citations. It'll give you the reference list citation, which will be the very same as what we looked at here. But then you'll just see with your in-text citation, they'll have included the page number here. So that's specific to this one, to this particular excerpt. Also, then you have the option here to create notes. So we looked at earlier the notes and highlights. So your highlight will go in here. And also if you want to create a note, just something you might think of as you read the sentence that you want to kind of revert back to, you can put that in. So it's great to make use of these functions. especially if you're returning to books. You'll have different things highlighted, notes input in. And also, if you do want to go back to a book, you can add to bookshelf. So down the very bottom left, there's an option to add to bookshelf. So as you'll see, I already have 2 bookshelves added here just based on my 2 modules, but you can do it by assignment either or whatever preference you have. And if you don't have any bookshelves added yet, you can select the add to new bookshelf option there and create as many as you need. So that's a useful tool to make use of as well, just to keep track of the different books that you've read and to be able to easily return to them. So hopefully you found this video useful. If you need any additional help, feel free to get in touch with the library at library@icepe.eu. Thank you.